Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be all about fragrance, and when I did my best of beauty video with my friend Dina, we kind of went on a little fragrance side chat, and then we decided that it would be fun to do a video all about fragrances together, and we're going to share some of our favorite fragrances that we're into this winter. And if you are also a fragrance lover, I think it would be fun to just hang out with us and chat. We came up with 15 questions to kind of structure the video and take us along. So let's get started.
Yes. You can go first.
Where's your cat? Where's your cat?
She sneezed during your intro. She's coming. She sneezed 3 times during the intro.
I mean, fragrance, sneezing.
The car
alarm is off again. Nobody is attacking the car, so I don't understand why the noise is happening.
It's for Maya to dance to.
All right, so the first question on our list is, what is your earliest fragrance memory / what's the first fragrance you remember buying?
So for me, it was it's a Tropical Splash Barbie. It was like 92, 93, 94, whatever. It was gifted to me, and this Barbie came along with like a little perfume. And this perfume, actually I have some notes here. Because I was researching and I'm like...
So the Barbie came with a perfume?
Came with a perfume. The fragrance that came with it is a memory now. And so as I was typing this, like responding to this question, I was like, let me just research and see. People online must know what this is. And so they've compared it to Joe Malone's Pear and Freesia. It's very, yeah, it's really, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go smell that again. The memory,
like a fruity floral.
Yeah. So the top notes are pear and melon, middle notes are freesia and rose, and then the base notes are musk, patchouli, rhubarb, and amber. I mean, so it works.
Maybe that's where your love for patchouli
as a child
from that Barbie fragrance.
Actually, my love for patchouli came when I was working at my uncle's store in Detroit, and this really attractive guy who was probably like 19 came in smelling like patchouli. What was your fragrance early memory? Oh,
once the car stops. Answer. So for me, I think the first like concrete fragrance memory that I have, I was probably 13 years old. I was at the outlets with my parents, and we were at the Tommy Hilfiger outlet store, and my parents bought me a Tommy Girl fragrance, and that was like my obsession for all of high school. That's kind of what started it all for me. And I haven't smelled Tommy Girl in a long time, but I remember how it smelled.
I can tell you, because it was my high school fragrance too. The Clinique Happy, Tommy Girl, and then Cotton Candy body spray. Like, gross. But anyways, it's
I love that.
Its main accords are citrus, floral, white floral. It's very bright. It's a very like uplifting fragrance. It's funny, I think, what you wear when you're younger as opposed to when your skin and you just change. So everything I wore was super bright, super happy.
What's your latest fragrance purchase? What's the newest perfume in your collection?
The latest fragrance purchase is the Portrait of a Lady, another bottle, Frederick Mall. Repurchase is this one. I did order a discovery set from Mac and Nosh. It's this young person on social media who was in another industry and then was really into fragrance, started his own company. So I just bought the discovery set, which includes VSOP, Amorose, and Fluoride. So I'm really excited. And I love that they have discovery sets. For the Portrait of a Lady, the notes are like, the accords are warm, spicy, amber, rose, woody, patchouli, balsamic, fruity, smoky. And I think the clove, like I don't smell the raspberry in it. I get more rose and I get patchouli and incense and like the musk, but it smells different on everybody. It is a very elegant perfume. It's really nice. I do tend to wear in the evenings more, or if I'm dressing up. What about you? What have you purchased recently?
My latest purchase was Tom Ford Lost Cherry, which is something that had been on my wish list for a long time, but it's not something that's in my typical fragrance wheelhouse. This is very much a gourmand scent, which is not something that I'm typically into, but something about it is just so delicious to me. It's bitter almond, black cherry, sour cherry, Turkish rose, jasmine. And then the base notes are tonka bean, vanilla, cinnamon, benzoin, sandalwood, cloves, and cedar. So there's like a nice like spicy woody base. And then there's like really juicy sour cherry and almond, and it just smells really good. It's very sexy. Like, it's something that I would wear in the evening. It's like a nice date night scent. I really, really like it. And it's not something that I would typically be into, and it's not something that I liked when I first smelled it. When I first got like a tester of it, I hated it, but over the years, it grew on me more and more and more.
So the next question is, what fragrance are you wearing today?
The fragrance I'm wearing today is actually something that I bought when we were together, like 2 years ago when we were at Somerset. And it's Soleil Neige by Tom Ford. Another Tom Ford, a really, really good winter scent, hence the name. Soleil Neige means snow in the sun. Can't say anything about the sun. I haven't seen the sun in probably 3 weeks. It's been dark and miserable, but it is snowing outside. So there is that. This is such an interesting fragrance. If I had to find like a clever way to describe it, it would be like an orange Tic Tac, like a sexy orange Tic Tac, because there is some citrus, but there's also vanilla and musk in the base. So the dry down on the skin is like sweet and musky, but the opening is kind of bright and it has some citrus notes, and it's just an all around like beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Top notes are bergamot and carrot seeds. Middle notes are orange blossom, which I personally love. I love anything with orange blossom in it. White flowers, jasmine, rose. Base notes are benzoin, vanilla, and labdanum. So to me, this just has everything I love. I love citrus flowers, white flowers, so that kind of gives it a little bit of brightness, and maybe that's where I get the orange Tic Tac reference from. And then the dry down has that really nice vanilla sweetness to it, but it's not too sweet, it's not too cloying. I feel like it's a nice balance between the flowers, little citrus vibes, and then the vanilla. I don't know, I smell musk in this, but it doesn't say, like the websites don't say musk at all. So I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but I really like it. It's a really good winter fragrance. What about you?
Today I got a little sample of Iris Poudre from Frederic Mall when I purchased the Portrait of a Lady. This is my second time with it, and I love it. I love the smell of iris a lot, and I love powdery scents too. The notes in this, top notes are ylang ylang, carnation, palisander, rosewood, bergamot, orange. Middle notes are aldehydes, violet, lily, rose, jasmine, magnolia. And then the base notes are iris, musk, sandalwood, vetiver, vanilla, amber, and ebony tree. And I think for me, obviously the iris comes through the most, but iris is so hard. It's like, it doesn't really last. I think it's a hard oil to get. It's not very cheap, but I just love it. It smells so wonderful. It is powdery. This is a good daytime scent for me because I think you need to be close to smell it. It doesn't, the sillage it's not too projecting. I love it. It is nice to be younger and to wear powdery scents because you're not older, and then you're just not, like you just said, in between. So I think that juxtaposition of like working on your skin because it's unexpected. I love that. It's unexpected. And again, it is a nice daytime fragrance. It's not too heavy. It's something that is very appropriate. And this would be like my everyday fragrance because it's just very nice and light.
Are you going to buy a big bottle of it?
I'm just gonna wait till.
I mean, you know what? These things are not cheap. So anytime
they're not cheap.
Any of us can get any type of discount, it's very, very, very welcome.
Yeah.
The next question is, share your top 3 winter go-tos. Do you have a selection of fragrances that you kind of go back to every winter, or are you feeling that something is different this winter? What's your approach with it?
I always feel like I do kind of tend to go back to the same ones. First one is Oud Wood. But I do wear this in the evenings. You know, the notes are actually very, very restrained on this one. It's oud, Brazilian rosewood, cardamom. And cardamom is one of my favorite things to eat and to smell. I love the smell of it. So sandalwood, vanilla, Szechuan pepper, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. It's just so smooth. And I think the vanilla, which is normally really gourmand, really works with the more woody notes of this fragrance. And it balances out.
Oud Wood I think it's like one of the best Tom Ford private blends. It's so special.
It is. It does balance it very well because again, I'm afraid of gourmand, but I love the smell of vanilla. It doesn't go cloyingly sweet on me. Another one is Aesop's Marrakesh Intense. It's so, I think one time I was out at dinner and I put it on and somebody gave me like a look because it was very intense. The top notes are cardamom, cloves, bergamot. Middle notes are rose, jasmine, neroli, and the base notes are sandalwood and cedar. So it's if you like more spicy scents, this is for you. But again, the bergamot really cuts nicely, but it is heavy.
Like when it was funny, we were in Dallas together just a couple weeks ago, and we smelled so many perfumes. It was so much fun just going to all these really cool stores and smell all the things, and our friends were laughing at us because we were just like spraying, like trying to maximize the areas on our bodies. And we smelled like every single, remember we smelled, we did like a quick fire review of, not review, but like to each other, of all like the Louis Vuitton fragrances.
But it was funny, like you guys, like it was like one here, one here, one here, one here, and then like we would do it on the other arm, and yeah, every like our girlfriends were like, you guys are
it was
to, like
lot.
Smell me. Like,
it was
what
a
do
lot.
You get?
A lot of smelling.
Yeah,
it
was fun. What about you? What's your winter signature?
Ellis Brooklyn Après, which is what the fragrance that I was wearing when we were in Dallas. I love the little travel size spray. And this is just, it's like a bougie mountain resort kind of scent. It's very fresh, fresh, woody, campfire vibes. It's like you were skiing in the mountains and then you enter the chalet and there's a fire burning. So the notes are juniper berries, cardamom, saffron. Middle notes are bourbon, whiskey, Gaiac wood, suede, labdanum, violet, and praline. Base notes are cedar, sandalwood, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it all just kind of works together, and it's really refreshing, and I just can't get enough of this. It's really, really good. And then obviously Tom Ford Soleil Neige when I want something a little bit sweeter, a little bit more girly. I love this too. And then Coriander from ttsandra. This is something that I could wear year round, if I'm honest, but especially in the winter, I think it's so good. It's like clean, it's soapy, and this, whenever I'm having like a sad day because it's miserable outside and I want to kind of transport myself to a sunnier day, I put this on and I pair it with like a very citrus scented body lotion. And I think if you like something like Byredo Bal d'Afrique, you would really like this. They're similar, but this is a lot less citrusy than that, but it's still really, really good. And the notes of this are coriander, pepper, juniper needle. Again, I'm like into juniper needle, I guess. Geranium, clove leaf, clary sage, musk, magnolia, and mace. And I love coriander, and I also love pepper notes. For like a nice little date night moment, I've been doing the Tom Ford.
What's my favorite fragrance brand? I think for me, it's Tom Ford. I seem to have a lot of Tom Ford fragrances in my collection. I obviously love like Oud Wood, Santal or White Suede. I love Santal Blush. I love Jasmine Rouge. It just didn't work for me. I gave it away to my sister. Second for me is Frederic Malle. It has a lot of fragrances that I'm interested in. But for sure, my number one is Tom Ford. Keep repurchasing.
I think if I had to choose just one brand, it would be Le Labo. I have seven Le Labo fragrances, and I think I have all the ones that I like. I think there are maybe a couple of others that I wouldn't mind adding to my collection, but the ones that I have are like my absolute favorites from the brand. And there's just something about it. It's very sexy lumberjack, which is something that I'm very drawn to. But a lot of them just have a really interesting smoky, woody element to them. So I'm really, really drawn to it. And the matcha one is my newest one. I think I bought it last year, and I bought the little baby bottle of it because I thought this would be great for travel, but I didn't realize that these small bottles are not refillable. Only these ones and the bigger ones are, so I'm kind of bummed about that. The next question is, where do you store your fragrance samples? Show us your fragrance samples.
Okay, I have two places. I'll show you his and hers. I store this in my closet. It's just chock full of like, I got this from my uncle, my husband's uncle. Sweetest man. You tell him you like something, that's all you're getting. So I mentioned one time I love milk glass. It's so sweet. So I just have like my oils, so sweet. My oil samples, my oil perfumery. My sister made this one year and I took it because I thought she's so talented. A little sample. So this is mine. It sits in my closet. All my fragrances just sit in my closet because for me it's like the finishing touch. And then my husband, I made this, it's so heavy. I made this out of bronze. He takes a lot of these when he travels or we travel together. So it's a nice reminder for him. He needs to grab these. Actually, what is in here? Interesting. What about you?
Mine is a lot less aesthetically pleasing than yours. I store all my fragrance samples in the top of an old Joe Malone box. So I just have them like, just like this.
That's okay.
You know, just sitting here. And I have them in a drawer. I love fragrance samples. I love collecting them. And anytime I feel tempted, like I feel like I just want something new, most of the time I can scratch the itch by just using one of the samples, because I don't need to go out and buy a new perfume when I just feel like I'm craving something new. Most of the time I can satisfy that craving using a sample, and most of these samples I got them for free just by asking for one at a counter, or some of them were part of discovery sets that I've purchased, and I love them. It's a great way to kind of try something before buying. And obviously if like I can't stop thinking about it and it's still on my mind, then I would consider buying a full size, but most of the time I get over it. And that's why I love fragrance samples so much.
I think that's a good idea. I have to start doing that again too, and just using my samples as my dailies, because I do go through my perfume so fast because I love it so much. But now I'm going to try to just once a day choose a different sample and wear it, so that way I'm two birds with one stone. I'm going through my samples and then also maybe discovering something new.
Oh yeah, the next question is, do you have a signature scent?
I think for me, you would say it's White Suede by Tom Ford. You would say that is mine. The notes on this one are thyme and tea, lily of the valley, saffron, rose, suede, musk, sandalwood, olibanum, and amber. And on Fragrantica, a lot of people say this is like your grandmother's house, where it smells old, but she was also a smoker. And I'll take it. Virginia Slims probably.
To me, that doesn't smell like cigarettes. Yeah. It doesn't smell like cigarettes at all. I don't get
that.
But
if it does, it's the best possible smell of cigarettes. It's just good. And then I think just kind of like, I think that's what I would say. But those are very similar. Again, patchouli, suede, sandalwood, iris, rose. I'm very like basic. I stick to my scents. I wish the cooler stuff smelled good on me. It just doesn't.
I don't think I have a signature scent anymore. And it's funny looking back. I used to, and I think it's not just unique to me. Can't remember if I was reading an article or if it was in a podcast or any type of, I don't know, it's some type of content I consumed talking about like a recent survey about people's perfume purchasing habits. And before, it used to very much be, you would buy a perfume and you would use it all, and then you would repurchase it and then use it all. Or maybe you'd have like maybe two that you would switch between. I just think that with the explosion of the perfume industry, we have so much more to choose from. I think maybe we're less loyal. I'm certainly less loyal to one particular fragrance. I have a general fragrance profile that I would call my signature, and it's something that I often refer to as like sexy lumberjack, because I'm very drawn to sandalwood, I'm drawn to vetiver, I like cedar, I like musk. So those are kind of like the things that I'm really, really into. And then in the summertime, I love citrus. Little squeeze of lemon. I love lemon blossom, orange blossom. I like white florals too. So, but yeah, I can't say that I just have one signature scent. I think if I had to choose one that I could wear year round, I mean, I have a bunch. I could wear Coriander by ttsandra year round. I could wear, what's it called? The Gaiac 10 from Labo. I could wear this year round. I could do Tam Dao by Diptyque year round. But this is very much like, they're all kind of the same. They're clean, woody, sandalwood kind of vibe. And I think I was also thinking about this yesterday when I was kind of thinking ahead for this video, the correlation between our signature scents and our personal style. And I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand as well, because I feel like as I've gotten older and I've gotten more kind of confident in my personal style, I'm way more into like more masculine items. Like I'm wearing a men's vest right now. I'm into blazers. I'm into like baggy jeans, baggy trousers, sneakers, and I'm more drawn to more like traditionally masculine leaning scents as well. I'm into more like woody things. But at the same time, if I'm going out, you know, I love a sexy top, I love a heel. White florals are kind of like super feminine. So I feel like those, like my fragrance preferences and my style kind of go hand in hand in that regard.
That is interesting that you mentioned that, because when I'm in jeans, or if I don't want to say rugged, but I will wear patchouli. Whereas when I'm dressed up, or if I'm going out to a nice dinner, I will wear more, and I don't like the word femme fatale, but that's what I always think of when I think of these fragrances. But yes, I agree with you. It's definitely geared towards what I'm wearing. No, it's so funny that you mentioned that. I never made that correlation, and it's totally true.
The next question is, what were the signature scents of your 20s?
Okay, for me, it was Michael by Michael Kors. That came out in the early 2000s. But the notes are Freesia, Chinese, osmanthus, tamarind, incense, tuberose, arum lily, peony, iris, orris root. Base notes are musk, cashmere wood, and vetiver. So no wonder we liked it. Like, it has the white florals. It has, for me, I love tamarind. But it was so warm and it was so rich, and it was a really, really beautiful fragrance, and it did really well. I don't know if they probably still sell it. It did very, very well when it came out. It was like everywhere. And the other one was just J'Adore Dior. But again, white florals. This is more gourmand, but loved it. And then Angel. I just wore Angel by Mugler. This has so many notes in it. It's insane, which makes sense.
I mean, it never smelled good on me, but it's always a fragrance that I respect and appreciate, because it truly is iconic. I feel like that's one of those fragrances that completely changed the industry.
But they also came up, I think, with the concept of the refillable bottle, which was great.
I remember I was really into Juicy Couture at one point. I was into the other one, the Couture it was called. It had like a very bulbous, very ornate bottle. It looked like it came out of a chandelier. I also went through a Chanel Chance Au Tendre phase. I loved Chanel Chance Au Tendre, which is very much fresh florals. Chanel Chance Au Fraiche I also really like. The Fraiche was like my go-to summer scent. And again, I still love fragrances that have that like aquatic, fresh element to them. I really appreciate them. I also had a Burberry phase. I used to love Burberry The Beat. I don't think they make it anymore. And then Burberry Body, which I still have. I actually recently repurchased it because I missed it. And I bought it from like a discount website, because they don't make this anymore either. But this is such an interesting fragrance. It's like a fruity floral, but it has a really nice like woody vanilla base. It's really, really cozy. There's a really beautiful peach note in there as well. And I still love this so much. And it's very nostalgic. And then of course, Alien. This is something that I still have in my collection, because, you know, the bottles are refillable, so why not? And I don't wear it as often anymore, but it's still so nostalgic. This is very much like a jasmine bomb. It's very in your face jasmine. Again, super, super recognizable. I can always smell it when somebody is wearing this on the street, and I love it. It's definitely not for everyone. A lot of people say it gives them headaches, but luckily I never got a headache from it, and I love smelling it. These are just like nice memories for me. A lot of the times I like to buy fragrance to either kind of memorialize a special event, or if I'm traveling, so I can always kind of go back to that moment by smelling the fragrance.
That's a good idea.
Next question is, what's a fragrance that reminds you of your parents or a loved one, a family member?
My mom used to wear Mage Noir by Lancôme, and they discontinued it, and now they have, I think, the Eau de Toilette, and she's just not into it. So she wears J'Adore as well. But Mage Noir was galbanum, cassis, hyacinth, Bulgarian rose, just really, really beautiful, kind of like spicy floral. And that was the only thing she wore. That was it. Whereas my dad was into kind of like the green bottle, like what is it called? Like Polo Ralph Lauren for men. And then also Dracar Noir, which everybody's dad was into it at that time. I remember, because in the 80s and 90s, they had the cars with like the benches in the front. There was no divider. So we'd be going somewhere with my parents, but this is before my siblings were born, but I would sit in the middle of them and they would both smell so good. And that is one of the best memories that I have. I just, oh, I love it. They smell so good. And my dad still, and I think it's also, that's where my love of fragrance started. Like for my parents, it was very much a necessity. Like you're going out, you have to put fragrance on. My mom probably sprayed me with hers when I was a kid, but yeah, I love fragrance. I'm obsessed with it. I have to have it on all the time. And I blame them and my grandmother.
I don't think my grandma ever really wore perfume, to be honest. I mean, maybe she did on special occasions, but I don't have like a particular perfume. Like I said, in Romania, it wasn't really like when I was growing up, it wasn't really as prevalent. But I remember, once we moved to Canada, I remember my mom and my dad, they both had very much signature scents. My mom still wears it. And she wears Organza by Givenchy. That's like her go-to, which I'm trying to find the notes, but the website is not loading. It's very much like a floral, and I would say it's a pretty heavy floral, I'd say.
It has like nutmeg, gardenia, African orange flower, green notes, bergamot, tuberose, jasmine, honeysuckle, iris, peony, mace.
Got a lot of stuff going on.
Girl, it smells good, and it is. My aunt used to wear it. I love it.
What is your partner's signature scent? Do you ever wear it?
Okay, so I've been on a journey with him. We've been trying to find a fragrance that works. His skin chemistry is really interesting. Not a lot of things work. Currently, actually, I purchased this for myself, but it smelled really good on him. It's this bottle, and it is called Ruat al-Oud by Latafa Perfumes. And the top notes are saffron, raspberry, middle notes are rose, patchouli, geranium. Base notes are oud, leather, cedar, and amber. I love the bottle. It's so beautiful. Like, how adorable is this? It's near the airport. There's like an outlet mall, and they have like a fragrance thing, and they have like a very small section of Middle Eastern fragrances. And so I got this one, but it's really, I do love it on him. I like that it doesn't go too heavy or too sweet on him. It doesn't smell as good on me, but if I just like layer this with something else, it does smell really good. I think the worst one on him was Thé Noir. This was not good.
Interesting. Does that smell good on you?
No, it's too heavy on both of us. So I'll sometimes just walk through like one spray just to have something, but
okay, for us, he does have two signature scents that he has like a fall winter one and like a summer one, and I do wear both of them. Like you said though, with the winter one, I love smelling it, but if I'm wearing it, I like to layer it with something, and it's Vetiver 46 by Labo. It smells so good. Like it's instantly like it just makes me think of him. It's so him. It's very much a sexy lumberjack fragrance. It's very smoky. It's a very smoky, woody fragrance. And the top notes are Tahitian vetiver, pepper. The middle notes are Gaiac wood, labdanum, cedar, and cloves. And then there's also some bergamot, vanilla, and amber in the base. And I don't smell vanilla at all. I don't really smell bergamot. Bergamot, maybe that's what gives it like that signature Le Labo freshness. Like it feels like it feels like a forest in the cold, but there's like a cold breeze in the air. Someone's chopping wood in the distance, like someone's burning a fire. Like it's very much, it's so, oh my God, it's so good. It just makes me happy because I associate it with him. But on me by itself, it's a bit much. So usually, if I want to incorporate this into my routine, I do like one spritz of it and I balance it out with like a floral, something like, like the Labo Rose. And then in the summertime, he wears Tobacco by Koki Koki. And this, I can wear this too by itself. And it's so good. It smells like fresh laundry, like drying in the summer sun. There is that tobacco leaf, but it's like a green, fresh tobacco leaf. And then it's got that like soapy, dry, like air drying laundry vibe to it. It's really, really, it's really beautiful and fresh and light. And again, it makes me happy.
So what's a fragrance you used to love, but you don't love anymore, or you have like bad memories associated with it? You can go first.
Mine is Tom Ford Black Orchid.
Oh, I agree.
I was wearing that in like one of the lowest points in my life. So now I cannot I cannot smell that fragrance anymore. It just gives me bad vibes.
Yeah, I think for me it's Armani Code because
Armani Code.
it smells really good.
I
but
love
don't-
Armani Code.
Yeah, I just can't. Like, I bought it it's just I was dating somebody. I gave it as a gift, and I love the smell, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to smell it. This one I've been looking forward to. So, share a fun fragrance memory from Perfume Counter. Do you have one?
The one that always kind of stands out to me is there was a gentleman that worked at the Tom Ford fragrance counter in Holt Renfrew in Toronto, the one on Bloor Street. And this is before Tom Ford did makeup. This was just when Tom Ford only had the private blend fragrances, and then like the next year they launched lipsticks. So this was very much early in the Tom Ford beauty empire days. I would go to the fragrance counter, and this happened like 4 or 5 years in a row, and it was always the same person working there and always the same person helping me, and he always remembered me. And at the time I wasn't able to like afford a full bottle of a Tom Ford private blend, but he was always so generous with samples, and I would buy a lipstick from there, and it always just felt so special. I felt like I was being invited to enjoy the brand. It was fun. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel pressured to buy anything. I was just encouraged to enjoy the brand, and that's always something that really resonates with me. I always just felt welcome, and it was just always fun. He was always so much fun to talk to, and he was a really great, super knowledgeable sales associate, so I love that. And then more recently, when I was in LA, I was at the Byredo store, and that's when I met one of my fellow beauty creator friends, Becca, and we went there together. We were the only 2 people in the store. It was like a slow day, just letting us try everything. But again, it felt like very low pressure, very conversational, just like inviting us to enjoy the brand. So generous with samples, so encouraging for us to try other things. And it was a wonderful experience. I love those experiences. I love when it's like low pressure and the person is really passionate about the products and education, but they're not heavy-handed when it comes to like the sales pitch, you know?
It's just they're excited to share their knowledge with people that are excited to hear about it. And I think that's fun. And also it's like a sample. It's not coming out of your paycheck. Like, give it away. I remember mine. I was in my early 20s, and I was in school for my job that I had, but at the same time I was working part-time at a cardiologist's office, and I was doing this woman's stress test, and she smelled so good, and I asked her what it was, and she said it was Shalimar, and I've heard that before. So then I went to Saks, and I was like, can I please smell Shalimar? And the woman looks at me, and she's like, you can smell it, but you're not going to buy it. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you're way too young. Like, and I just started laughing. She's like, I'm sorry, she's like, come back in 60 years. It was an interesting interaction because it is a very intense perfume. It's very heavy. And I was 21. She's like, no. She's like, not yet. No. She's like, you have to have life experience and a few wrinkles. I'm like, okay. But it was fun. It was great. I'm never going to forget this woman. It was such a funny time. I still like meeting fun salespeople. It's not often, but it's such a great experience. I think we have luck though. When we're together, we meet nice people. Yeah.
We do. When we are together, we actually do. We do have good luck. And maybe because we also, we have each other, and there's, you have that third person to bounce things to fill out any awkward silences maybe. And the next question is a fun one. And actually I see a lot of like random TikTok videos about this, but it's, what are your thoughts on fragrance gatekeeping?
Oof. So for me, if I love you, I want you to have everything that I have. Like, there is no gatekeeping. There were no secrets. But if I don't like you, so even though it does smell different on everybody, but sometimes it's just kind of like, but usually if somebody asks me what I'm wearing, I tell them. Like, if it's some random person on the street, I tell them. If it's somebody that is in my life and I love them, I'm like, actually, I know you might like this. Generally speaking, I'm pretty open and honest with what I'm wearing, because also it smells different on everybody.
I can see why some people are very much like, oh, I love this fragrance and I'm not telling you what it is. I think it's odd when people make content online saying that. Like I've literally seen videos on TikTok of people saying this, I'm putting on my perfume, but I'm not telling you what it is because I don't want you to steal it and wear it and ruin it so I don't enjoy it anymore. But I also think that now there are so many ways you can make a fragrance your own. You can mix a couple different fragrances. You can mix it with different body lotions. You can explore. There are literally thousands and thousands of brands.
I wore popular fragrances and I liked it. And I think that's the thing too. My nose just got turned off after a while because I would not only smell it on myself a lot, but I would smell it when I went out. Olfactories just get very tired of it. But yeah, I think it's like a double-edged sword. Thankfully, I think
it really is.
We're so varied in our fragrances that we're very lucky. We have plenty to choose from if one of these get popular. Don't ruin white suede for me. What's your most affordable fragrance fave?
The oil perfumery oils, I think they're like, I mean, I bought this, I remember when I bought this, it was on sale. I paid $10 for it, and they're just so great. They're like little gems. They have their own collection. They also have a collection that's inspired by other fragrances. The one the first one that I got that I like to wear is the Bal d'Afrique. So it's like their impression of Byredo Bal d'Afrique. It smells similar to Bal d'Afrique, but it's not identical. It's in a fragrance oil format, and I love it. I think that they're a great way to explore maybe, you know, popular types of fragrances when you don't have the budget and you still want to enjoy it and you kind of get the idea. I think they're close enough. They're obviously, again, like they're not identical, but they're close enough. They really are inspired by the original, and they share enough of that DNA that you can definitely get a pretty solid impression of what the original would smell like on you. And I love them. And they're great for travel. They last a really long time as well. So I'm a big fan of these.
I agree. I do.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, I love the oil perfumery. And again, I think I do love that they travel so well. And you can layer them with the real fragrance or whatever too, which is very nice. I think that's very smart. For me, it's Nimat, anything from Nimat, but basically patchouli.
Love that too.
Sandalwood, Egyptian musk. They're at any Whole Foods. They're probably at any perfume oil shop. I have a friend who wears the Kim Kardashian fragrances so well. Everyone smells so good on her, and they're like $20-$30 a bottle.
I feel like maybe now gourmands are more popular. Yeah. When I see the most popular fragrances, they tend to be more on that sweet side.
The last is, what's next on your fragrance wish list?
For me, it would be, I really want to try Dries Van Noten fragrances. So I might grab a discovery set of those. I'm intrigued. The packaging is really beautiful, and there are a couple. They have like a sandalwood orange blossom one that I feel like I would like, because those are like two of the things that I love the most. But I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to kind of just push pause and enjoy what I have for now. But that's something that's kind of on my radar. And also, when we were in Dallas together, I got to smell some Celine fragrances, and I really fell in love with the Reptile fragrance. I wish they had like smaller samples, and they're not on any websites where you can get decants of them yet. I think it's still quite a new range, so I'm kind of waiting to be able to sample it and kind of live with that fragrance for a week or two before I make the commitment.
For me, I placed in a sample order to Lucky Scent, and one of them is called Water Therapy by the New Company, and the notes are seaweed, salt, cardamom, and rose. It's a really actually beautiful description, so I'm really into when they get really artsy with their descriptions and the scents and like what it means and how you feel, and creating this world of around a scent. And the next one that's in my wish list that I haven't ordered a sample of is called The Time by the House of Oud. And the bottle for this is beautiful. It looks like an Easter egg on your shelf. It's really, really gorgeous. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's something that I have a sample of it, but I feel like, and I really like it, but I feel like I maybe want another sample so I can live with it even longer. Yes. But I really like the smell of the new Byredo Eyes Closed.
I just ordered a sample. Okay, good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like big red gum and dusty books. That's kind of what it smells like. It's really interesting. It's got it's cinnamon, carrot, iris, and it's interesting.
Nice.
It's kind of odd, but I really like the way that it smelled. There's so much out there.
Lalique also has really great fragrances too. There's so many, like every fashion or like high-end boutique has its own fragrance, and you go niche, and then you go whatever. It's such a fun, it's just so much fun. It's one of
It
the
is a
things
lot
that
of fun.
I think it's, for me, it's more fun than makeup because it's just like a never ending discovery of like, what's next? What's out there? What's the story behind it?
They have a longer shelf life too than a
Yeah.
lot of makeup. I think if you store a fragrance properly, you can have it for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah. Away from light, away from moisture, you're good.
Yep. Don't put your perfumes in the bathroom, people. Keep them away from sunlight, which is, I know it's a shame because a lot of the times, you know, we're so drawn to these beautiful bottles. So you
Yeah.
want to display them somewhere, but don't display
not worth
them
it.
if it's not if it's a sunny room, you know, it's just
No.
going to go bad really quickly. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And this is going to be a long one. To any of you that are still watching this, that you're still out here with us, thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with us. This is fun. I mean,
was fun.
I could sit and chat about fragrance all day
Yeah.
long. I think it's
Yeah.
really fun.
If you have any suggestions, I'm always willing to try stuff. I'm always curious to see what other people are wearing because
Me too.
it's just fun. Yeah.
Me too. I love knowing what fragrances people are wearing. I love to know what fragrances people are like, what's on somebody's wish list, what's on somebody's, like, what's somebody's signature scent. I like, you know, no gatekeeping here, you know, just share and
Sharing.
So
That's
thank you so
awesome.
much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.